Did your name come up?
Yeah, it's gone now.
Okay, just muted you all. Okay, good evening to tonight's post-convention team call. We've changed it to Tuesday, and it's going to be next Tuesday as well, because it's the bank holiday Monday next Monday, sorry. So that's what we're doing on Tuesday. But as I said, so lovely to see so many of you. It was such an amazing event. Loved it, still buzzing. And you can see why we were telling you to go to convention and get as many people as you can to convention. Wouldn't you agree?
That was good, babe.
Thanks.
Good opening.
Thanks, Toby. Thanks. I practiced.
Yeah, convention was awesome, and it was wonderful seeing so many of you. We tried to take a team photo, and I think we got about half of you, and the rest couldn't fit on the stage. It was pretty cool to see everyone, all the teams there at convention. I think Mum's team, if we count Mum's team, she had probably over 10% of convention, maybe even 15% of the convention there. So that was all of you guys. So that's really cool.
It's really cool. And just, really interesting to just think about that. The first year when we were doing it and Becky was doing it, we've mentioned time and time again, but it wasn't really going anywhere. And, dribs and drabs, you'd get maybe 1 or 2 sign-ups here or there, but no one really doing the business. And then all of a sudden it just explodes, and it was quite overwhelming to see how many people were trying to cram onto that stage. And so it will happen.
Only 3 years ago,
as well.
you were the only one that went to convention from our team.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, Lindsay came. Lindsay came as well. It went to the first European convention. So it is, that was 3 years ago. So it will happen to you as well. Just keep going. You've got the whole feeling of doTERRA. It's so inspiring to be part of that company. And as you share these oils, it's going to happen. So don't stop. Don't give up.
What I find pretty cool was that, what company, the CEO gets up there and talks about language, talks about swearing and keeping your language dignified. I thought that was very cool. And also, what company spends, I don't know, at least a quarter of the time talking about helping others. And yes.
It was very inspiring. So we came away inspired. So I hope you guys did as well.
Inspired and tired.
Yeah.
Like probably many of you.
Okay, so do you want to do your bit first?
Oh, wait, please. Yep, I'll go first.
Okay, and then we'll pass over to Sue. So Sue, you get ready. So we're just going to give a summary of day one. So for those of you that were there as well, it's nice to hear it again, just kind of a summary of what happened on day one.
Next week we'll do day two.
Next week we'll do day two, exactly. It's got lots of cool stuff happened on day one. We had David Sterling talk, which Sue's going to give us a little summary of. So looking forward to that. We had new products that Nathan's new kits, and then new oils that Vanessa's going to talk about. We had the culture, which I think is so important. We've got Peter Rear talking about. And then my favourite part actually was the Ask Dr. Hill that Kirk and Dr. Hill did together. Answered some questions that come up quite a lot. So I'm just going to do a summary of that. So that's what we're going to cover tonight.
I found their banter quite fun, actually.
It was, yeah.
Okay, so Lisa, who is the general manager for Europe, she did a talk, and she basically introduced the new kits that will be coming out in August. So these are the new kits. I'm going to run through them quite quickly, but they've got a new family essentials. It's going to have the beadlets in them, so the On Guard and peppermint beadlets. So if you've seen the new family essential kit with the packaging, it's very lovely, but it's also going to now include the beadlets, which is great.
Which is instead of the Smart and Sassy.
Instead of the Free Smart and Sassy, yeah.
So that's better, really.
Home essential kit, not new, nothing different apart from it's going to have the new packaging, so it's going to look very sexy and very nice. The Aroma Touch Diffuse kit, that's new as an enrolment with the coconut oil in a nice new packaging.
Yeah.
So check that one out. So there's lots of options for enrolment kits now. This is the essential, what are they calling it? I can't read it.
Essential Aromatics Diffuse
Essential
kit.
Aromatics Diffuse kit. So I think they have this one in America, don't they? So they're just bringing that over here.
Yeah.
With the nice new Lumo diffuser. Cleanse and restore kit, and you can choose it regular or with the vegan option. You know, there's many vegans out there, and you can have the vegan option now, so that's great. The natural solutions kit, the same, but it's the same thing, but you can have choice of vegan option now,
which is brilliant.
There's a tummy support kit. That's an where did the other one go? Let's skip the slide. Oh, there was an every oil kit one, and that comes with a vegan option. Obviously, didn't take a slide of that one. Now, the cool thing is that they've actually created LRP kits. So, you know, so someone signs up with an enrollment kit from the previous slides, one of them, and then what do they do next? Okay, what do they order next? Well, now they can get an LRP kit. So the next order they can get the Terrazymes. So this is the tummy support kit. Okay, and what's next?
It's brilliant. And they're all pretty much 100, well, over 100 PV, these kits, if you see. So it's really good for anyone that wants to be a sharer. So it's like easier for people to kind of transfer.
And they're all different stuff that they wouldn't get in the enrollment kits. So you can, so it's extras. The Daily Habits kit.
This is a brilliant kit. I think this is one of my favourite ones.
With LLV.
Fantastic. So if you listen to Boyd Truman, then this is the kit that really goes along with what he's saying about getting everybody on the lifelong vitality.
It should be called the Boyd Truman kit.
And the Terrazyme. Should be.
Truman kit.
We'll call it the Truman kit. And then the PB Assist as well, and lemon in that too. So that's really good. And it gets people into the deep blue rub. You know, people love the deep blue rub. So I think that's a really good kit.
It also comes as a vegan option as well.
Yes.
So that's really cool. Lisa also talked about they're going to have new website rollouts. They'll be coming to Europe soon. So everything's going to be updated. It's going to be looking sexier, smarter, quicker, more efficient. LRP should be much easier to use. So that's going to be great.
Brilliant.
Also, she was saying that specifically, so at the moment, it was very hard, the language part of unless you choose the language right at the beginning, you can't actually change the language. So let's say you are in Germany, but you want to see it in English. That's very tricky to do. Whereas now you can sign up as a German, but you can have it in English or French. So if you're an English person that lives in Germany, you can have a German doTERRA site back office. But you could have it in English or French or whatever it is you want to. You can choose the language. So that's cool. That's coming soon.
Brilliant.
Also, all the product information. This is great. It's got a lot of cheers. All the product information is going to be underneath the products.
Yes.
So at the moment, there's not tons of information.
For that.
A little blurb underneath it, but there's loads more information out there.
Yeah, it's just you have to go and find
just
it.
Have to search
Whereas
for
here
it,
it's just there.
It's just there, and there's links to the sites, so it's much better. So that's coming soon. And it's also going to be responsive to the mobile apps. Well, it is slightly responsive, but it's going to be much better for iPads and smartphones, etc. And then the really cool thing was that some of doTERRA's products, these 4 products, are now on the Cologne list, which means that they are safe for athletes to use and they'll pass their drug tests. Okay, so this is really cool. It gives a lot of kudos to doTERRA, and they're going to come up with more products put on the Cologne list, but the ones they've got so far are the Deep Blue Rub, the Deep Blue Soothing Blend, the Serenity Restful Complex, and the Mitre 2 Max. So it just means that the athletes can start using these natural products to give them an advantage naturally, which is brilliant.
That's amazing.
That's it from me.
Very exciting announcements. Thank you, Nathan. So now we'll kick it off with, well, not kick it off, Nathan's kicked it off, but Sue, we're going to pass over to Sue Boswell. Sue, are you on the call? And can you please give a summary of our lovely CEO, David Sterling, and what he spoke about at convention?
Can you see and hear me?
Yes, we can. And it was also your first time, Sue. So that's also share your experience.
I just got a couple of questions to answer. Louise Wade, they'll be available in August. That's what we've been told. So let's expect September, October, but hopefully August. All right. And is the Zendocrine detox
Just capsules.
in the Cleanse and Restore kit? I'll have a look for
Get
you.
the slides again.
I'll have a look at the
I
slides.
can't remember yet.
Go on, then
haven't
over to you, Sue.
memorised them yet. Sorry, Tonya. Over to Sue. Thank you, Sue, for joining us. Sue Boswell, I'll just introduce Sue, just in case you don't know, lovely Sue.
It is. It is in there, Sonia. Tonya.
It is. Yes, we met Sue last year, July. It was about July, wasn't it?
Yeah, end of July, yeah.
End of July. It was a lovely meeting, and we were very excited to meet Sue and her lovely husband Andy, who joined us last summer then and got to gold very quickly. So they've been with us now for almost a year, but they missed European Convention last year because you joined just after. So this was your first experience. And how many of your team members did you have there roughly, Sue?
On Saturday we had around 50.
Amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing. So yeah, great.
Yeah, good.
Over to you.
Okay, thank you. Well, yes, it was our first one. It was a little bit exciting, a little bit wow factor. Obviously, we'd been to many conferences before. I think when I spoke to you earlier, you probably didn't want me to say, but they, compared to them, they were like a Mickey Mouse outfit compared to what goes on here. It was incredible, very professional. Everybody thoroughly enjoyed it, blown away, particularly by the products and the culture, I have to say. And obviously hearing that, having underlined that doTERRA do have the largest essential oils and the best company in the world. So it's lovely to be part of what's the best. So David Sterling, you want me to say a bit about him? Well, it's obviously a miracle because he's got 9 children.
I know, crazy or a miracle, yeah. Most people in doTERRA are crazy or miraculous.
Yeah, it's one or the other. Well, I don't know how I could have ever coped with that, but anyway, has 9 children. Obviously, he is the chairman, he's the CEO and a founder member of doTERRA. Incredible bloke. I've watched loads of his YouTube videos in the time we've been involved. He obviously told everybody that the company was 10 years old. And again, very refreshing for us that it's all of this is part of a debt-free company, and it's so solid, everything that backs us. Then became even more exciting when he spoke about countries that are opening this year, if they haven't already. And I've written those down because I can't remember them off by heart. Guatemala, Colombia, Ecuador, Brazil, New Zealand, South Africa and Philippines. A year ago we would have been happy with just one of those, but to have all of those in 1 year is absolutely incredible. And then really exciting to hear that, you know, his mission statements that he always talks about, and also how he wants to see doTERRA moving towards you know, natural healthcare in general. So that's what people look to, and it's going to be for the greater good of everybody. So that was just that little teeny bit.
Thank you,
brilliant.
Sue.
Thank you.
You're
And
welcome.
like you said about the debt-free company, that really stood out to me when I first heard it as well. And what I learned this time actually is that I knew they'd started off as a debt-free company, but then he explained, didn't he, that they'd gone back, like it was 2010 when they got debt-free again, because obviously they had to invest probably tons and borrow and all that jazz, but they actually got back to debt-free in 2010, which for a massive company like doTERRA, it's just amazing, isn't it?
And the healing hands and the co-impact sourcing, it's almost it's the main thing about doTERRA really, but it's almost like an added extra when you look at it. It just makes the company even more incredible.
Yeah, absolutely. It does, doesn't it? I know, to see how successful they are with their product, but they're also achieving all these other things as well as being the most successful essential oil company out there.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Great. And what kind of feeling did you get from David Sterling, just before I let you go?
So you said, you just feel that you are in very safe hands. I have to say my favourite was David Hill, though.
Yeah,
Dr. Hill.
Because of the content or his personality?
Yeah, both. Yeah, I do like the content.
Yeah,
I do like the content, but I just think he's so easy to listen to. He presents his stuff very well and always puts a bit of comedy in there.
Yeah,
you know, it keeps you interested, doesn't he? But that, I mean, with all of them, you know, all the founders, you just do feel that you're in very safe hands.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Sue.
Thank you, Sue.
You're welcome.
Perfect. And what I forgot to mention at the beginning is that this convention, just in case you weren't there, was the largest convention outside of the US. which is incredible. You know, this is what the fourth year, did they say, that you're at Sterling Convention?
Fourth year.
I should know because I've been to them all.
Didn't you go to the first one?
So 4 years. It's only been 4 years, okay, that Europe have been having conventions, and already we've got the biggest convention outside the US. So this is gonna, it doubled, more than doubled from last year, just to give you guys a good feel about why now is a brilliant time to be involved in this business.
Yeah.
It's going to double again. And it won't be too long till we're matching what doTERRA's, capacity is in America, which is like 30,000 people. And all your team, Sue had 50 people there this year. Just imagine how many you have next year. It's just
exciting.
I've got one thing to say about David Sterling. That was quite cool, but I can't remember if it was in the convention or if he said it afterwards. I can't remember. But he made a very interesting comment to me. He said that there's loads and loads of products that would mean money making machines that they could choose, but they never ever go with that. They go with what do the consumers need.
That's my part. You just stole my part.
Oh, did I?
Dr. Hill. That was Dr. Hill that said
Was it
that.
Dr. Hill?
Yeah. That's good though. It's a good point, and we can say it a lot of times.
But it resonated with me. But
no, it's good.
just forget. Let me just.
You go.
I
love it.
Erase that from your memory. So
no, I love it. You take it. I think I like hearing it from you more, actually.
Okay,
good.
Cool. You did talk a lot at convention.
And just one last thing about Dave before we move on to Vanessa, who's going to give us next bit. I liked hearing, you probably like this as well, and some of you men or even women out there, some women find it really hard to accept the essential oils to begin with, but David found it really hard to accept the essential oils to begin with. He was like,
what a hero.
Essential oils, what are they? And many of us can feel like that at the start, can't we? Until we start using them. So if you've ever felt like that or still feeling like that, the CEO did. So there's big hopes for you. Thank you so much, Sue.
Thanks, Sue.
We'll let you off the spotlight now.
Thank you.
So handing over to Vanessa, who you've heard from before, so our lovely Diamond. If you can come on the Zoom stage.
I am.
Lovely. So you're going to share with us, aren't you?
Well, first of all, I'm just going to play Vanessa's video.
Play Vanessa's video.
What?
No.
Vanessa has never wanted to walk at Gala. It's not been what she's really motivated by. But we had the pleasure of watching Vanessa walk as Diamond at the Gala. And those of you, I know there are lots of you there. And didn't she own it?
Looked like a movie star.
She's like a model. She's like a model, actually. Just walk down there, owning it. She looked wonderful. So.
It made me cringe. I have to say, I don't like this kind of stuff. I don't like the recognition stuff. But when you get the chance, you actually will really enjoy it. There is something about it. I did admit to it today, didn't I? There's something about walking down through all the people that you've worked with and who've helped you get there. That's kind of really lovely. So I did love it, and meeting all the directors and them saying well done. It's really lovely. It's a lovely experience. So I look forward to watching all my team.
You didn't wear the yellow. You didn't wear your yellow glasses at convention either.
I didn't actually. I rocked out without them, didn't I? It was dark lights. Okay.
Yeah.
No blue lights.
Rockstar.
No blue lights. Over to you, Vanessa, on Dr. Hill.
Okay, so I'm going to talk to you about some really exciting oils that are coming available on general release in August. I was very lucky because these guys brought me back some from America. So I had smelt them before, and they are amazing. You are going to love them. So we have got, very excitedly, rose, jasmine, and neroli, which are 3 floral oils. Which are particularly good. Actually, they have so many different uses. So I'm just going to cover it very quickly. But we've had rose and jasmine before. You've been able to win it, but you've never been able to have it to really properly use because they're so expensive. Like rose is valued at like £550 for a 5ml bottle. Jasmine for £250. So if you're on it for winning it, go for it this month. If not, you can buy it as a touch, which means it's diluted with coconut oil. So rose oil is incredible. One of the things that really blew my mind is that they did this study on pathogens, and they were saying they tested 100 different microbes and loads of different oils, and we were all going, which one came out on top? And you think it'd be On Guard or clove or oregano. Rose. rose was the most effective oil at killing all pathogens, all the bad microbes. So it's quite incredible. So that means it's really good for immunity, really good for supporting, it's really good for the skin, actually, rose. It's well known for kind of clarifying the skin. It's very soothing, it's very hydrating, but it's really good for stress and anxiety and invigorating, but also very immune boosting. What I also liked is he talked about them for neurotransmitters. So rose is an incredible oil for boosting serotonin levels in the gut. So that's really, really powerful. So if you've got somebody who's feeling quite sad and depressed, rose is the oil to use. Then you've got jasmine. I personally love jasmine. Jasmine is one of my favourites. And jasmine boosts your dopamine.
It's your perfume.
I do. I wear it often as my perfume. I love it. Really good for boosting dopamine, which means it's really good for memory functions. It's really good for the brain. But one of the really fascinating things is it's also really good for the skin. But this one boosts collagen. So it's really good for cellular reproduction, which means that it's great for things like eczema and psoriasis. So for skin conditions, this one is the go-to. It's really, really awesome. And then thirdly, you've got neroli. Neroli is good for GABA on the brain. So it's great for anything kind of anxiety, inflammation. It's a very balancing kind of oil, and it's also very clarifying for the skin. So these are really great ones for the skin, but they also have lots and lots of other great effects on the brain, but also on your nervous system, and calming as well. So the great thing about having them in the touch is obviously when you're using them on the skin, you really want to dilute them anyway. So these are all pre-diluted to be able to use. Taking one, blue tansy. Now, me and Scarlett, we love this one. We do call it the Smurf oil in our house. Because it's quite incredible. If you take a little rollerball and you can fill it up all the way with coconut oil, and if you put 1 or 2 drops in it, it's like ink. So it's quite incredible. And you put it on your skin, and for literally maybe half an hour, you kind of got blue skin. So it's quite cool. So we call it the Smurf oil in my house. But it's a really amazing smell. I love the smell of this one. It's a bit like berries. Best way I can liken it to. It's really lovely. And this is an anti-everything. So it's another really powerful oil as an anti-inflammatory. It's not the cheapest oil. So look at it kind of like a Melissa Helichrysum. It's going to be an expensive one, but it's a very, very powerful oil. And it's great for anything skin related. So this is one that I've actually used on our skin. It's great for kind of soothing any kind of rashes. It's great for sort of skin irritations like eczema and psoriasis again. Great one diluted with jasmine, and it's a lovely one to kind of put with other oils for diffusion. So it's a great one for kind of relaxation and soothing, and basically anything anti-inflammatory. So we love this one. And then we can't not leave out Cowpaiba. I hope I'm saying that right, because there's so many different ways to say it, and everyone says it and then corrects everybody. I think it's Cowpaiba, which sounds really strange. But yeah, so this is the really exciting one. Now, obviously, we've had loads in the press in this country about CBD oil. So this is going to be really important on the education piece, because CBD oil at the moment is pretty unregulated. And actually, the content of the powerful sort of effect of CBD oil, actually the sort of the chemical part of the plant that's really effective is between 5 to 30%. So it's actually quite low on what it can do affecting your receptors. So you've got these I won't go into too much. We've got CB1, CB2 receptors, and CBD oil indirectly affects your CB2. What's amazing about Cowpaiba is it directly influences your CB2 receptors, and it has the content of the effective part of the plant is 60%, so it's huge. And obviously, when we're looking at these CBD oils, most on the market were way lower than these kind of rates. So because most of them are adulterated, most of them are mixed with, and they've tested lots in the market, so most of them are mixed with synthetics and carryols. We have a pure oil. So this is what's going to be really, really, really exciting, is to be able to share this. Now, we know that there's so many uses for CBD oil, and it's pretty similar with Cowpaiba. So anything central nervous system, anything affecting the cells, anything hormone, anything immunity. We know there's going to be lots of people asking for this for cancer care, and also anything pain relieving. So it's going to have so many widespread uses, and it's really, really effective. We've all been trying it for lots and lots of different things. We did have a massive group with people talking about this. Unfortunately, it got shut down, but people, I was just blown away. Like, people with arthritic pain, joint pain, were literally getting relief from a couple of uses. So we know this is going to be a complete game changer. What's really exciting is it's really inexpensive as well. So you know, this is the one to kind of use like frankincense oil, but it's only about, I think it's going to be about £30 a bottle. So it's going to be a complete game changer for a lot of people. And it's also good for liver protective, antioxidant, cardiovascular health. So yeah, just enjoy when that one comes out. It's going to be I think that was all of them, wasn't it?
It was.
Lots of exciting oils.
Thank you, Vanessa.
You're welcome.
Great rundown. Just one thing as well, I remember, I don't know whether it was Dr. Hill that said this, but he was saying that doTERRA are working with over 150 partnerships, you know, many of them hospitals, aren't they? He was saying they've got lots of relationships medically, and now their testing has gone way and beyond the Petri dish one, actually working with people, but unfortunately they can't share all that information with us, can they, because of law, but they will share as much as they can. So, you know, be comforted by the fact that doTERRA are doing, you know, backing everything up with lots of research now. But of course, the only way to really get the full experience is just by using them yourself. So all that Vanessa's just said. Just
can I share an amazing testimonial today?
Definitely.
Yeah. I don't know if Eva is on this call, but she might not be. But she introduced someone to the oils.
Yeah.
And she wanted to use the oils for her dad, who had stage 6 Alzheimer's. Now, when you're stage 6, it's very progressed. So he literally wasn't speaking anymore, not making any sense, incontinent, you know, pretty back to a baby. On a very healthy diet, blood sugar balancing diet, not making any improvements. 2 weeks we've been using the oils. Week 1, they came into the room and he started asking his family questions. Like, we're not making loads of sense, but where have you been? They were absolutely astounded. Week 2, he's told them to leave the room. He needs to go to the bathroom. He's now going to the bathroom by himself. So we are all so excited for this family, because they are just so beside themselves with the only thing that they have changed is introducing oils. I know you're going to get lots of people asking me what they did. Go to the Essential Life book. They just did exactly the protocol, word for word, in the Essential Life book. But yeah, we're all super excited in our team today.
Thank you.
Oh, that's
Vanessa.
cool, Vanessa.
That's brilliant. I love hearing that. You know, there's things happening all the time, miracles happening all over the place with these oils, and that's just incredible. So thank you for sharing that. That's life changing completely, that one. Thank you. Okay.
Are you going to do
next one?
The photosynthesis thing?
Yes, I am. So I'm taking my speech.
Okay. I didn't take it. I was asking. That's why I checked.
Let's ask Dr. Hill. Yes.
Yeah, I can't remember when it was.
Yes, I will. Copying that.
Is Peter on? You there, Peter?
Introduce him.
Yes, Peter is on.
Peter.
Hi, Peter. I'll just introduce you, Peter. So this is Peter. Peter's, well, quite a new member of our team, but he's got to go pretty rapidly. And used to be in network marketing in a different company, and had a different culture in that company. But we've asked Peter to talk about culture, and not that the other company was wrong in any way, but that doTERRA's culture is very important to us, and Adam Kopp was very strong on that, actually. He was lovely and strong about protecting the doTERRA culture. He's the other presidential diamond in Europe, and we feel very strongly about it. as advocates and as
Guardians.
And as guardians as a company. And Peter said something to me. You said it to me before, actually, Peter, a month or two ago. But you said to me this time, you're like, you feel very strongly about, you know, being a guardian of that culture and doing that. So I just thought it'd be great for you to share a few words, as you're quite new to this and probably learning as you go about the culture, because it's probably a new thing. And
it is. It's entirely. So firstly, good evening, everyone. It's a pleasure to be on here, and it's wonderful to hear, you know, each and every one of you's stories, and we've been following everyone's success, you know, as part of Nathan and Rebecca's team, and it's just wonderful. And it was my first convention. I started building on the 27th of October last year, and so it was, you know, for me, I'd heard about the doTERRA events and that it was very different to what I was used to. Now, in the previous organisation I was with for 18 years, their culture was the exact opposite, okay? So we would be standing on chairs with air horns, okay? Can you imagine that? I'm standing on chairs with air horns and just doing all sorts of like crazy dances. And everyone would stand up and they'd all talk about, you know, their big houses, their big incomes. There was very, very little talk about the customer, you know, and now I'm not saying that that's wrong or right. It's just, it was very different, okay? And that's all that we knew. I've only ever been with one previous company in network marketing. I was with them for 18 years, and so I never knew any different. So when we actually arrived at the doTERRA conference, well, I've got to tell you, I was absolutely blown away. Okay, I really, really was blown away. And in the 6 months that my wife and I have actually been with doTERRA, I have to tell you that I have completely fallen in love, head over heels, with doTERRA. I absolutely have. I'm a complete convert. Okay, and I'm proud of that as well. And I think that's really important. And whilst I was looking for business opportunity, you know, I was, because our other company that we'd been with for 18 years was starting to fail, and we could see that it was starting to fail. So I was looking for another business opportunity, but my first interest with doTERRA came from the oils, okay? And I had two life-changing experiences with the oils. So from day one, I absolutely fully appreciated how wonderful these oils were. It's changed my life. I used to suffer really severe headaches. I know that's not what Nathan's asked me to talk about, but I just want to mention the core, because I was taking 44 cocodamols a month for these really severe tension headaches that I would get, and because I couldn't sleep. And I used peppermint and lavender, and I've just not touched cocodamols since October. And that for me is just, oh my goodness, it's changed my world. So I believed in the products from day one. So having now been exposed to not just the products, but the company and the people, and it's just absolutely incredible. And I absolutely believe that if something can connect with your head and your heart and your gut, okay, it has to be something very, very special. And that's exactly how I feel about doTERRA. And I understand now more than I ever did about being involved in something that makes a real difference in the world. Prior, I was involved in something that could make a difference to people's incomes, but there certainly is not even comparable with what doTERRA do. And to see the, you know, what's going on in the world, the global mission to make a difference, you know, the co-impact sourcing, the Healing Hands Foundation, and just see all the different projects going on around the world, and seeing, you know, Rebecca up and off on her travels and looking at, you know, investment to help to purchase the land. For me, it's just like, oh my goodness. And I've got to tell you that is 100% from the heart. The sort of person that I am, I'm a people person, and it's something that I pride myself on. And I've always given more to people than I ever give to myself. And I always put people first. But I've never experienced anything like I've experienced since I got involved in doTERRA. And okay, I appreciate that building a doTERRA business provides us with an opportunity as well to be able to provide for our families, and that is important. I completely understand that. And, you know, I think it's our hope in the future that gives us the power in the present, okay? And because I can see exactly where doTERRA is going and what they're doing and the incredible organisation that they are, and the wonderful people that are involved in it. And, you know, for me, I only want to introduce good people to doTERRA. You know, there are some people that I speak to and I think to myself, you're not right for doTERRA. You know, and I really believe that. Now, it's not for me to decide whether they actually, you know, join the company, but I'm having these little thoughts already about, you know, about making sure that we do protect the opportunity, that we do have the right people who understand how important it is. It is all about the product. It is about the customer centric, you know, that we have, but also, you know, about classy people going out there and being able to provide and help to support their families. And when I actually heard Adam talk, it was the first time that it really, really resonated with me, because he did speak passionately about it. And it was the first time I'd ever heard the expression about the guardian of the culture. But I understand what that means now, because if anything was to go wrong with doTERRA in any way, shape or form, that prevented it from being doTERRA the way that it is, you know, it would be a travesty, because we must absolutely each take responsibility to protect the doTERRA culture. We really must do that, because it isn't just about us. We're part of something much greater than ourselves. You know, it's about the impact that we make around the world, and we all saw evidence of that at the convention. So I completely get that now, and I'm not perfect, and I'm still going to make mistakes, but I'm very fine tuned to that now, and I would like to think that, you know, I would become someone that would, you know, be proud, you know, to be pointed to by any one of you, because you could be completely reassured that, you know, that I would be somebody that would hold the, you know, the doTERRA values, which I think is really important. When I actually met David Sterling, I just want to quickly say this, is that I used to watch David Sterling just through YouTube, okay, and listen to his talks before I would actually go along. And I remember thinking, what an absolutely incredible man this is. And when I heard about how the way they started the company, and they didn't want to give control to the banks and the investors, because they wanted to be able to do it right, because they were very clear on where they were going and how they went without their wages for so long. And David Hill selling his Harley Davidson motorcycle, you know, to be able to help to add to the investments and things like that. And to see, and you know, and here, when David Sterling, there's an expression, okay, which goes like this: when a great man talks, a wise man listens. Okay, and every time that man talks, I want everyone to be around me quiet, because I need to listen to what that man has to say. And you know, I couldn't, when I was walking across the stage being recognised for going gold, and I saw that we were getting our photographs taken with the founders, I was so excited. I was more excited to do that than I was with anything, and I couldn't wait to get to David Sterling. And all I wanted to do was shake that man's hand and simply turn around, and I'll tell you exactly what I said to him. I said, David, it is my complete honour. And I absolutely believe it is my honour. So I'm really excited about this opportunity. I'm hugely ambitious. I make no apologies for that. I realise that for me to get where I need to be, I just need to reach out and help lots of people. You know, and that's exactly what I intend to do. And, you know, we will be presidential diamond within about 24 months. And that's a bit of a bold statement to make. I understand that.
It's recorded, Peter.
It's absolutely fine. You've got to put it out there. And then
you're doing it the right way. You're doing it the right way, Peter. And that's and it's no problem being ambitious. That's great.
Yeah, absolutely. But I know that it's all about helping people to get what they want in order to me to get what I want. So that makes me feel good that it's done in an ethical way. So thanks ever so much anyway, everyone. I really appreciate you inviting me on, and I look forward to hearing more from yourselves. Thanks, everyone. Cheers.
Thanks.
Thanks very much, Peter. That was a great, passionate little speech on...
spoke right to our hearts.
On the culture.
It's brilliant.
The culture is very important to us, and we are all guardians of it. And so we've got to protect that. That doesn't mean that you don't, you know, like Peter said, you know, you might think to yourself that this person might not be right for doTERRA or something like that. I mean, that, to be honest, isn't necessarily our decision, okay? Because people can change and we can help people, but we are there to protect it, okay? So,
absolutely. I love what David Sterling said, back to David again, is he said doTERRA heals people. And it really does. And it's not just physical healing. it's emotional healing, and you'll find, and this is what we've noticed so many times with ourselves and with everyone who we meet and get to know and who come on to do the business, everyone changes. You can't not. You know, we all need to change. None of us are perfect. And doTERRA helps us to make those changes. And I just love what you said.
Subtle hints will be given.
Subtle hints. But it's even more important that we do protect the culture as we're growing. You know, we just said that doTERRA has doubled, at least in the last year. It's going to double, it's going to triple, it's just exploding at the moment. So it's so important that us as the core have our values right, and that we can then filter this downwards. It is our duty. I definitely feel that. So thank you so much, Peter.
Thank you so much, Peter. Brilliant. And Claire. It was lovely seeing Claire.
Presentation. Yeah, it was really nice to meet you both physically, face to face. Not that we had very much time, but more time hopefully next time. Okay, so now it's over to me to do the last bit, huh? There's no one else. We haven't missed anyone, have we? No, you're going to do that bit next week, aren't you?
So do you want me to do the photosynthesis bit now?
No, that's mine. That's my bit. You can join me if you're passionate about that bit.
I didn't like that bit.
So I'm going to just give a little summary of Ask Dr. Hill. In fact, you could be Kirk. You could ask me the questions. So Kirk and Dr. Hill had a bit of chemistry going on the stage.
Are you going to be quick? Because I've only got 10 minutes.
Yeah, I'm going to be really quick because it's just a summary. So I will be posting these videos onto the Silver Blossom. I did little clips of each question, so you can watch each question. I just need to work out how to post them. That's my thing. But yeah, they answered. Thanks. Yeah. They answered some really good questions that come up all the time. And so one of the first question was, there are often no guidelines for aromatic use. What would you suggest for someone when they're using it aromatically? And Dr. Hill said,
I'm going to read it to you. You can be like Dr. Hill Kirk.
There
are often. I don't even read that.
I'm going to carry on.
Right, you carry on.
So aromatic use, because it's so well documented, basically he explained that there's no real need for real strict guidelines when it comes to aromatic use. My code writing, so you can't read it.
It's good.
He said that basically with aromatic use, metabolism and availability are constant, which basically means as the oil is being diffused, your body can metabolize it at the same time, so you can't really overload your body with aromatic use. He was saying that it's very safe to use. However, he said we can have constant use with it, but he did say to never supersede thresholds, which can sound slightly contradictory. So basically it's just kind of common sense. So we probably wouldn't want to diffuse 24 hours a day, but it's not like there's really strict guidelines here. So he said, diffuse sporadically. That's why periodically throughout the day, maybe in the morning, then at lunchtime, then just before you go to bed. But we don't need to be very concerned with aromatic use. It's a very, very safe way and a very effective way of using the oils. So great for someone that's a bit nervous to use the oils to begin with. Next question. You can probably read that one.
Dr. Hill. So, are the oils safe to take internally? I get this question all the time.
Yeah, it's a really good question, but I feel like there's a question underneath that question.
That's good.
That's what he said.
Yes,
so there's two things. There's two things here, Kirk. Basically, first of all, there's our personal choice. So you have your own personal choice of how you want to use the oils, and this is a good thing to tell people. You don't have to use them internally. You can use them topically. You can use them aromatically. So it's kind of how you feel comfortable and what works best for you. But he did go on to say that, of course, you can use them internally. And he went on to a bit of the science, which you can find in detail, by the way, guys, on the doTERRA.com science blog. It goes through the whole way that your body absorbs the oils and how we've got specialized cells, basically, lining our esophagus, so our throat and all the way down into our stomach, that basically break down the oils, so kind of dilute the oils and transport the oils very safely into our body. So we don't need to worry about the safety of taking them internally. But he did say don't go too extreme. So again, use common sense. And he said, I like this. He said, I like this bit. He said, we are not interested in doing what everyone else does. I love that. doTERRA aren't a company that just following everyone else. doTERRA are a company that are standing alone in a lot of things, and they're taking leaps beyond what other companies have done. And that's because of the science and what they're willing to put into the research. So, you know, doTERRA are going to break all the rules of a lot of other essential oil companies, and not to be scared of that. You know, this is progress. This is the future. So let's join them in this. But be respectful with people. And if you really have people that don't want to take them internally, say you don't have to. It's your personal choice. So I like that. Question 3.
Because they're not the tastiest, are they?
Some of them aren't. No,
they're not.
Lemons
They're
are
not
nice.
built for taste. I'm pretty sure on that one. I had a toothache today. On guard. To be fair, it really worked.
No.
I'll give it that.
No.
But it's not the tastiest, is it? It's not. It's got no sugar in it.
Delicious. No, it's not delicious.
So,
Question. Oh, it's not that one.
what about the kids' internal one? Did you not
No,
do that?
I'm doing. That's next. That's
Oh,
it's not
sorry,
next.
my bad.
Keep going.
All right.
I've got
Some
them all.
people are more sensitive to
Yeah.
oils than others.
Carry on. Actually,
Come on, that one.
you didn't really go on. Carry on.
How would you advise people to use the oils when they first start?
Okay, another very good question. So Kirk did go on. I won't tell this story, but I'm going to post it on Silver Blossom. Kirk had a very interesting story with cassia. Quite funny. So you can go and listen to that story.
Don't do that.
Aphrodisiac, cassia, but be careful.
Whatever
Be
he
careful
did.
with it. Don't do what he did and use lots of coconut oil. It's basically the conclusion of that story. We've never tried that one. So Dr. Hill had a rash as well, which I'm not going to bother talking about. But he went on to say, so when you're advising people to use the oils at first, because some people are more sensitive than others, I'm quite sensitive to the oils, so I do have to use them with a carrier oil. He said, you know, it's a learning curve with the essential oils. And to kind of remind you, and it was good for me to remember how you first felt when you first started using the oils, and try not to overwhelm people. So just get them using a few oils first of all. And he actually spoke about helping someone to have their first powerful experience. So that's the sampling experience, isn't it? And giving them specific instructions, because at the beginning people need specific instructions. But then he also went on to say that's why they created the Home Essentials Kit, because in there, they're pretty safe oils. Oregano is the only one you need to really tell them to be careful about, and let them kind of learn. But we give them those guidelines, don't we, of 1 to 2 drops every 2 hours as needed, refer them to the reference books. Yeah, that was kind of it. That's the summary. But again, these will be posted on Silver Blossom. Okay,
So,
question 5.
Well,
yeah.
I see.
Good question.
I see that you skipped around that without saying anything. All right.
I didn't actually. I was quite direct.
Oh, you were
Yeah.
actually. You just said that. How should you use? What kind of writing is this?
It's my code. It's
How
my
should you
code.
use them on infants and small
You
children?
can't read my diary. How should you use them on infants and small children?
Yes, please.
Another very good question.
Don't skip around this
Well,
one. Go be direct, please.
I have a quote on my wall. I don't. Dr. Hill does, which says, "Children are not small adults." Very profound. So basically what he was saying is we've got to be very sensitive when we're using them on children. Yes, we can use them on newborn infants, and he shared a story of a brand new baby, but what he did was he put a drop of frankincense on his hand, which was interesting, I thought, and rubbed them onto the new baby's foot. So it's about being just really sensitive, not overwhelming children's bodies. They're very responsive. They don't need as much essential oil as we do as adults at all. So he said you can't really get half a drop out, can you? But you can use 1 drop diluted, or do what he did, put it on your hand so you absorb part of it, and then you can use it on the infants. There we go. doTERRA Touch was also invented for children.
So
that's
what are
good for
the
whole family.
what is the adverse effects and reaction rate?
Yeah, so actually doTERRA have a 0.007% adverse reaction,
That's right.
which is tiny. And of all these reactions, there are no serious problems. Okay, so that's very comforting. And they said there were 5 million active customers. So that's a lot of people using the oils, and that is the adverse reaction. So it just puts it in perspective, doesn't it? When people say, oh, I had this rash, because usually reactions that I've experienced with people are perhaps a rash of some sort, or maybe a slight headache when they've used an oil. Compare that to drugs, it's not really a problem, is it? Not really a problem.
Not the same thing.
Okay, don't miss it. This one. Oh, no, you've done that
I
one.
did that one, baby.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Dr. Hill also went on just to say that it's to do with the quality of the oils. That's why the adverse reactions are so small, and that's why also we're accepted in so many medical communities, which is very exciting. Next question.
Why is the FDA a joke?
That's just my notes. He cracked an FDA joke. I can't remember what it was now, really.
Again, Friends of doTERRA Association. Yeah, I thought that was funny too, because he was basically saying
that the FDA people are using them, aren't they?
Yeah, some of the FDA guys that he knows are calling them up, and he's like giving them over to Dr. Hill to say, it's the FDA. Yeah. And then Dr. Hill takes his, like, I don't want to take that. And he's just like, how do I use this oil?
Yeah.
So it's quite cool.
So it's good, especially if you know the history. When we first joined, like about a year later, the FDA were hot on doTERRA's back, and that's when everything had to come down, all the compliance came in. Mm-hmm. But now most of the FDA love doTERRA, and they're using the oils, which is great. This is your question.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we have had an adverse reaction, right? Or there is the number one is photosensitivity of the citrus oils. What would you say about that?
I'd say stop being so silly. That's what I'd say to you.
I've not burnt myself.
No, so basically what he went on to say was, yes, so a reaction takes place due to sun exposure. And he explained the chemistry. So there's actual components within the essential oil that are reactive to the sun and cause that reaction. And there's two solutions they could do. They could either source the oils differently and fractionate those oils and take out the components that are photosensitive, but that goes completely against what doTERRA believe in and not keeping the oil as a whole. So they're not going to do that. And the other thing they could do is steam distillation, but again, that destroys some components in the essential oil, which is why with citrus oils, they do cold pressed extraction, so it keeps the oil intact. So basically, we just need to be sensible.
Or you could just not put it on your body and go in the sun. You could do that.
Well, that's it. That's what we're saying.
That's the other option.
Don't go and sunbathe with lemon essential oil thinking it's going to help you get a tan.
There is a quote, really famous quote. It's all over my wall. Don't be stupid. That's a good one, right?
It's a good one for Nathan to learn. Yeah.
For me to learn, yeah.
But you can take it internally and put it on topically on your feet or something if they're not being exposed to sun. Okay, we're almost at the end. 2 more questions. 8. No, question number 8.
Can you build up resistance to the oils? Because I feel like
adaptation.
I feel like the oils don't work on me. I feel like I'm resistant.
It's because you eat too much pizza and gluten. But that's another thing. But yes, only kidding.
Don't admit that. This is recorded.
Only kidding.
I don't, guys.
Only kidding.
Guys, it's like...
Although diet is obviously very important.
Pizza is like twice a week. That's honestly...
And cheese and toast the other 3 days.
It's not that much.
We know. Okay, so anyways, adaptation. This is a question that I've often had. If you're using the same oil every day, do you need to rotate them? It's a really good question. Dr. Hill said, to be absolutely honest, he doesn't have the 100% answer to this, but he has been doing a daily regime for years now and doesn't feel like, that effect has stopped being as effective. So he actually says that what people might be experiencing is that their body is changing as we use these essential oils, obviously, and getting better in whatever area we're targeting. So then we might need a different oil because our chemistry's changed. So but he did say there's no harm in rotating oils, and the books resources all give us so many different oils we can use. I like to use different oils and rotate them a bit just because different smells as well, make them more interesting.
You don't just want to smell of oregano all day long.
No.
That's like garlic.
Not forever.
Not as bad, but it's like it.
Last question.
So how do you come up with the next product?
Yes. So you stole this one earlier, but this was the good thing that stood out to Nathan. So it was really good actually. So they said they've never ever, so they counsel together as a group and they listen to us, so they're out in the field often hearing what products we would like, and that feeds back. Then they discuss it together and they work with the scientists, very closely with the scientists, especially when they're coming out with blends.
And then Emily Wright just tells them what to do, isn't that right?
Yeah, basically. She's a woman, so they all listen. Perfect. But
there's definitely some sexism there, isn't there?
So they never ever say what product would make us a lot of money. That is never on their agenda. It's cool. More they focus on the needs. No, you like that, didn't you?
I did, because actually that's what ends up making the most money, but in a roundabout way. So I really like that.
Good. And just so you know, so when they're coming up with the blends, they spend a lot of time, the scientists do, looking at how the different essential oils work synergistically, because obviously when you mix an oil with another oil, then it's going to change the chemistry. They have reactions. It's all chemistry and will change the effects of the oils. So they do a lot of research making sure that one component isn't negatively affecting or, you know, just taking out the effect of another oil. So it's all done very scientifically, so that all the blends we have, we can be very assured that they are good.
Well,
The end.
Thank you, Dr. Hill.
Thank you. Thanks,
I appreciate
Kirk.
that.
That was good.
You're welcome.
So that was a summary of the Q&A. Yeah, Dr. Hill and Kirk. So that was pretty much a summary of day one. So hopefully you didn't come
Day two coming next week.
Next week. Tuesday night, because it's bank holiday. Monday. We'll be talking a lot more about the
8 till
healing
9.
hands stuff and
Yeah.
all those kind of things. Yeah.
So that is, if you're on Emily's team,
Yes,
get on
sorry,
her
Emily.
call.
I'm so sorry. We
But
won't
you'll be
do
on Emily's
Tuesdays
call next week.
again. We'll be on Mondays from then onwards.
Yep.
It's just the way it's fallen at the moment.
She can't hear us because she's doing her call right now.
Yeah. Thank you so much to Sue, to Vanessa, to Peter for helping us with this call. It's lovely to hear your input. It was all brilliant, really good. And we'll have some different leaders sharing some of the summary from next week as well.
Harrison's just asked,
yes,
what's the hottest market in Europe at the moment?
Ooh,
Romania.
Romania is exploding
By a distance.
every second.
It's now the second under the UK. Might even take over the UK.
And they enrolled like 500 people in one team. It was like one event or something. It was ridiculous anyway.
Yeah, it was ridiculous.
No, 1 month, but it was just like one team or something. One person maybe. So yeah, Romania is just flying.
Yeah, and then Dusseldorf is next convention.
Yes, Germany. Let's go to Germany.
Go book your tickets. It's going to be 10,000 this time. 10,000 people at convention this time. So there will be a time in 3 or 4 years' time when I reckon Wembley Stadium. That'd be cool, wouldn't it? Wembley
Stadium.
Book out Wembley. So there isn't anything else I checked on.
Okay, I guess we're more than 10,000. Yeah, that will be cool.
Any questions from anyone or anything?
Have a wonderful, wonderful week. Feel inspired, as you've heard. You've had some great testimonials. I loved hearing Peter's and the one that Vanessa shared. So these oils
didn't touch
change
on
lives.
Murray's one, actually.
You're going to do that next week, aren't you? Oh, no.
I don't know. I can touch on Murray's one more next week because I don't have the slides for that. I want the slides. Right, but there was Murray's one where Europe is going.
Share that next week.
And that's really cool. So, but I don't have the slides for that. I really want them. So.
Yes, if anyone took pictures of Murray's slide, actually let us know, and you can present it next week, or you can assign someone else to. Cool. Well, love you guys. We love being, part of your team, and you guys all being part of our team. It's brilliant. Great culture.
They'll probably have
great focus, helping others.
Andy, they'll probably have Spurs as the halftime entertainment meet, not Liverpool.
Oh, we've got a question. Topic on the feet, for example, or internally. So it really does depend. So Dr. Hill actually did say that for him, he finds it more effectively taking it internally. I guess it will depend on what he's trying to treat. Obviously, if it's muscle pain, I'm sure he'll put it on topically. For me personally, it's generally internally as well, unless it's something that I'm trying to address topically. So, if you've got something that you want to hold the oils on the skin, then put it with some coconut oil, like a rash or a spot or muscle pain, then topically. If it's more systemic, then internally is so much more effective than just putting it on the bottom of the feet. But I do put it on the bottom of the feet for children. So I hope that answers that question. See the final on Saturday.
I like to put stuff on the bottom of my feet rather than take it internally. I prefer it. But yeah, fair play, Andy. That's a good one. Liverpool and fair play.
Cool. Well, we'll let you go.
Have a good evening.
Leave.
And we'll see you later, guys.
Bye. Thanks so much. Bye. Lots of love to everyone. Stop recording.